Yo, what is up, my boys? It's college football season, baby. We got college football tonight. We got college football tonight. We got college football Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Let's go. Let's get in.
Sure, we got college football every Saturday until
That's right.
middle to end of January.
Yeah, we locked in, baby. We locked in. We got games galore. Like I say, starting 5:30, dog. I get to watch my week 2 opponent, South Florida, playing Boise State. But yeah, no, we got good games this weekend. Obviously, the Canes got a big one on the standalone game on Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
The Gators are going to win by 100, and yeah, the Noles got to play Bama. But no, we're gonna dive into some of these games. Like I say, Primo schedule. It's kind of been a little bit, different the last couple seasons. There's always a couple Primo games, but this year, the amount of, I don't think we've ever. It's been, I forget when they were saying top 10 games, like in the first week.
Heavy. It's been a while.
Like three. There's 3 top 10 games. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, just good matchups galore.
Yeah. Like even like a Baylor Auburn game. That game like has some intrigue to it as well.
Georgia Tech, Colorado
on Friday night. So yeah, there's a ton of different games. But yeah, I guess we'll dive in. I guess the question is, do you just want to dive in straight to in order of the games? Because if that, it's big noon, baby. It's big noon kickoff with the Texas Longhorns. F Texas is what I said last year.
What you mean?
As Big Bill
horns down,
say horns down, hook them down. But like, man, Texas,
this should
Texas
be
rolls in to the shoe Saturday at noon.
A lot of questions. I mean, number one, the number one at the top of both teams' list is the quarterback position. I mean, Arch, the so-called number 1 pick overall next year, versus Julian Sayin. But there's so many other storylines, I think, in this game. Texas 4 new starters up front on the offensive line. We know their defense is going to fly around. And then on the reverse side of Ohio State, yeah, your skill guys are great, but who's the running back? I think Peoples is the running back, Sayin is the quarterback, but you're replacing 9 starters on defense. So this one is a coin flip to me, but obviously with the 1.5 you have up there. But right now I'm leaning Texas just because of the defense.
Yeah, like me and I was on Dave's podcast last night. We kind of ran through a couple of the national games since we didn't really break down the Gators since they're playing Long Island University. So we were talking about a couple of these, and we were kind of, it was scary. I told him, I was like, we're in agreement on all these. I agree. I like Texas just for the sheer fact of the defense is going to travel. The defense is pretty good. Yeah, you got to replace that interior that was really, really good for Texas. Yeah. So teams had tough times running. But the ends, those guys are going to be flying upfield.
Linebacker, secondary.
Like I say, they're loaded back there. And then if you were going to say, again, they're not breaking in a brand new quarterback. At least Arch has been there for a couple of years. He started a couple of games. I think I have a little more confidence.
We still don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But I would say there's a little bit more known to him than Julian Sayin.
Oh, 100%. I totally
agree. Sayin might be what I said. I was like, Sayin might be that guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
we got to wait and see. And
what makes it easier when you got Ennis, Smith, and Tate.
That's part of the thing too. Is like he could be really good by like, hey, I just got to get it to these guys.
But I think part of the problem Ohio State had last year as well was they weren't able to run the ball like they normally do, because I think they became pass happy. And then towards the end of the year, they were able to run the ball even with Judkins and Travion Henderson. I think not knowing who your running back is, and they lost 2 guys on the offensive line. It's going to be, can they protect them with those ends coming off the edge, and then can they run the football? That's why I got to lean to Texas at the moment. Oh, I mean, you got to like Ohio State has to love their playing in the shoe. Is at noon, even though everyone hates it. What kind of environment is going to be, and who settles in first? Because I mean, watching that game last week with Iowa State and Kansas State, it took both teams a while to kind of settle in. It was 7-7 until the middle to end of the third period. Then we start seeing points. Will we see that this weekend with these 2 teams? I kind of expect it a little bit, but it should be a good game either way.
No, I think it's going to be – I don't think either team's running away with it. It might be a little more low scoring just because the big question too is, like we said, yeah, you probably have the best defensive player in the country and Caleb Downs on your defense, but you lost a ton on that defense. So you're replacing a lot. And, how good can that defense quickly translate? You also – the other key factor to me is – you replace both coordinators, and so Chip Kelly, I love Brian Hartline, and obviously he's going to take over some of those duties.
But Chip Kelly as a play caller is just phenomenal.
Right, and especially
take all the other BS away from.
He got grooving too late in the year there.
Exactly.
So again, I just think I think like what you said, if Texas can get to the point where they feel like you're not going to be able to run the ball on us and they can just pin their ears back, I don't care who's that receiver. If you can't get him the ball, or Sayan's pressing, that's where it could be a long day for him as a first time starter, basically.
So I'm curious to go little X's and O's with those defensive ends. Do you take one of those receivers off the field because you have to help protect? Because are you going to run 3-man routes and max protect with your running back and tight end the whole game?
Right.
Then if you have to do that because of those ends, Texas can drop more people, because if they're only rushing to the between 4 and 5 guys, that gives them more of the advantage, because now they could play more man with little zone underneath and different things like that to take those receivers out. So that's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what kind of sets they come out, and if they try to go 11 personnel, 10 personnel, spread. How will they try to block that? Will they have to bring in the extra protection from the tight end and keep the back end? All that, like I said, that'll be the interesting chess match.
Also, I don't think I've ever seen Brian Hartline call plays outside of a spring game.
Right.
I know he was co-offensive coordinator a couple of years ago, but was he calling plays? We really don't know. And then Matt Patricia, he comes down to the college level. How long does it take him to get used to the college level, with the hash marks being wide compared to the NFL, and how he calls his defense and different things like that? So those are a lot of factors you have to factor in for this game. But the good thing is, even if you lose, neither team's out of the hunt.
I guess here's the thing: that's been I've heard a major talking point is who needs the game more, who is the loser of this game. You're not out of it, but which one has a more tougher road to climb? Basically,
Texas.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, because I feel like playing in the SEC and having to play Georgia and Florida and all, basically Ohio State. I think obviously Ryan Day got the monkey off his back, won the national title, could win the big games in those senses. Obviously it would kind of be what's funny is it'd be a detriment too, because those Ohio State fans, they're insufferable. Like it's almost would be funny because they finally did win the Natty, lost to Michigan, so people are holding over their head like, yeah, you won the Natty, but you lost to Michigan, and then you come out and lose, week 1, at home. Like that would be a funny scenario, but like I still feel like Ohio State is in a better situation in the long run of their schedule.
100% their schedule, yeah.
And so honestly, I still feel like both of these teams are playoff type teams. I think they both probably get in, but obviously that's wait and see. But I
mean, their next big game is probably 5-6 weeks into the season.
Yeah,
more than likely.
Yeah, and again, we went through their schedule and it wasn't very imposing. Yeah, they play. I would say Illinois is the next biggest challenge.
And that's week 4 or 5?
Like week 6.
Yeah, so you have
next
4 weeks.
Their next 2 games are Grambling and Ohio. Then they play at Washington, maybe a tricky road game, but they're better than Washington. Then they play Minnesota. Then they play at Illinois.
So you got 2 weeks to kind of correct a lot of things that you have issues with. If just say hypothetically they lost.
That's October 11th, by the way, too. So they got
you got plenty of time. So that means they got a bye week somewhere in there to kind of tighten up the schedule. And then Texas on the flip side, you have to play. I know they play Georgia for sure, but then that SEC slate.
Well, they play the Gators. They play the Gators 4 weeks into the season. They got to come to Gainesville. Then they do Red River. So it's like they get their little easy 2. They get 3. God dang, Texas, San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston State right after this one.
Oh yeah, they could correct a lot. They could correct a ton. Yeah. So both teams, if they could come out of this game somewhat healthy to where they don't have any major injuries,
I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of these teams in these early part of the season is keeping your guys healthy and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I think, like I say, I think
we're both going Texas.
I think we're both going Texas for sure.
Okay.
But I think the game's tight. I think it's a good game.
Yeah. But if Ohio State found a way to win, it wouldn't surprise me.
Not at all, because like I say, that means Julian Sayin is pretty damn good, and I think he has that capability, in my opinion. I mean, he's a 5-star quarterback, went to Bama,
game experience.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to see kind of in a lot of these situations with some of these quarterbacks who haven't played and we'll get to that later, like in your game, like Notre Dame, but
Yep.
we'll jump over to the 3:30 game. The other team that we talk about on this podcast, the Florida State Seminoles, and the new Doak Campbell Stadium are bringing in the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Fighting Kalen DeBoers.
Not getting a lot of information out of that place out west, that team out west, we really don't know what to expect. I mean, we kind of know somewhat with the Gus Malzahn offense. It's going to be Tommy Castellanos is probably going to run a little bit, go off script, but we don't know what that offensive line is going to look like. We know they got some pretty decent skill guys, running backs pretty good, tight ends pretty good, but I think Alabama is juiced up, ready to go, and they know last year wasn't a good year. Their defense is probably going to be a top 10 defense this upcoming year. Offensively, like you say, we just don't know about Ty Simpson. He got some burn last year to start the season, so he had some playing time, but it wasn't pretty when Milroe finally took over the helm. But he's got some great skill guys to throw to as well. I mean, they're going to miss Jam Miller a little bit. So the thing to watch in this game is the next man up at running back. How do they protect the quarterback in third down situation or passing situations? Because most college running backs can run the ball. That's not the issue of why they can't get on the field. Is can they pass protect on third down and be in key passing situations? So, and then Alabama has probably one of the better offensive lines in the country as well. So they're going to try to run the football. And one thing, if you look at Kalen DeBoer's record over the years, he doesn't really have too many losing seasons. I mean, last year was kind of considered a losing season for him when you look at his record at all the stops he's had. So I think Alabama, it might start off a little slow and sloppy just because you're breaking in a new quarterback, but I think Bama's going to win. I think they're going to cover that.
Yeah, I think Bama has no problem in my opinion. I just like we've talked about Florida State on the preview show. Like there's a lack of unknown, obviously.
The turnover too is the biggest thing.
That's part of it too as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheer fact that, like, I don't know, just I guess call me a discreditor of Castellanos and not a believer. Like I feel like that's just not a huge upgrade at quarterback. Like I feel like you got the same guy in like a DJU or a Brock Glenn or Tate Rodemaker.
If they can't run
or even
work.
like I think it would have been better off if they would have had Cromanhoke. If he would have stayed, but he transferred out. But so it's like. I feel like they didn't make a major upgrade at quarterback. And so obviously that's a major focal point. And so they don't have the weapons like they've had. We talked about the Keon Colemans and the Johnny Wilsons.
Not like that, but I like their weapons, but
yeah, I like Squirrel.
You like Squirrel, and Deuce Robinson's pretty good.
And
Landon Thomas at tight end's good, but like you say, can they run the football? That's part of the Gus Malzahn offense is you have to be able to run the football because you go back and look at last year's game with UCF versus Florida. They couldn't run the football. You guys dominated that offense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And part of it, and they had a stud running back in RJ Harvey, who's now one of the top projected rookies in the NFL.
Exactly.
Now. I think part of it too is I feel like Alabama's defense is going to be pretty good too.
Legit.
Like they returned a lot, and like that's one thing that Saban always had was the defense. So personnel wise, they've kind of kept what they had recruited.
Yeah.
And they brought in some parts, and like I think the defense is going to be really, really good. Flip side, like you say, new quarterback, new starter, Milroe's gone. You got plenty of weapons. Obviously, we love Ryan Williams. We like Horton from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Jam Miller's good, but like I told you before, Richard Young I think is special. So yeah, the question is, can he be a good blitz pickupper on pass sets? He can run the ball, so. Is he going to make a big, huge impact of like, hey, we don't even need Jam Miller. We got this kid and he's just as good. So, the big question mark, if Florida State can run the ball a little bit to try to offset stuff, that's going to be a big factor. Can Cam Davis and some of those guys get loose?
Rodell.
And
that's huge. No, it's huge in this game. When you're breaking in so much brand new, when you look at 11 out of 11 starters, 9 to 10 are all brand new. Not saying they can't do it, but if you can't run the football against that good Bama front, it's going to cause problems because, like I say, now we're banking on our quarterback to either be accurate or being able to get out of the pocket and make a big play with his feet. And can he do that the whole game?
Oh, for sure. And like I said, that's where that's where you're gonna. It's one of those you got to wait and see because you haven't seen it yet. And
Yeah,
again, it's like with everything when you haven't watched any games, we don't have anything to evaluate, criticize,
right.
critique like new players here, new players there, who's going to make an impact, who's not. And so that's the great part about it is you start the season off, you get to see what's happened, you make
Yeah.
your
And we
adjustments
both,
from week 1
and
to
the
week
thing
2.
is, we both could be wrong, and somehow, some way, Mike's
That's what I'm
figured
saying.
it out, but I don't see it.
Castellanos might be that guy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Tommy Castellanos. I won't lie. Like he does some special stuff. He's a small guy, whatever, but he's got juice now. He can move and he's super shifty. He's a good scrambling quarterback. So could he have a little bit of that Jordan Travis element? Maybe. I don't, like I say, he's been in college football for several years now. He kind of fits Malzahn, what Malzahn likes to do. So like, he who knows?
It's
he
not as structured as Bill O'Brien.
Right. And he doesn't lack confidence. We'll say that. So
yeah, he better back it up.
That's what I'm saying. But I just feel like Bama, like I say, this game might start slow, Florida State hanging around, but I think Bama wins it going away pretty easily where it's like, this wasn't much of a game. But who knows? We could be completely wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, like you say, with no information coming out of that building, you don't know what to expect. I mean, who's to say who's the starter at running back? Who's the starter at right tackle, left tackle, right, or even any key injuries came out? We don't know anything.
Yeah,
and we'll find out at 3:30 on Saturday.
That's right, buddy. We'll find out on 3:30 on Saturday. All right, Death Valley versus Death Valley. Who's
the real Death Valley?
Who's the real Death Valley? Please stand up. SEC ACC matchup.
I think this is going to be a pretty good game. I'm leaning towards Clemson at the moment just because you bring back a healthy Cade Klubnik, and most of that offense is back, and they're going to be explosive. And then on the flip side, if the rumors are true that LSU offensive line struggling, this is not the defense you want to struggle against. And with Peter Woods and those guys up front, Terrell on the back end, and you're playing in Clemson, I'm leaning Clemson. I think Clemson's going to win, but I like the LSU skill. LSU has some skill guys, but if they can't protect, it doesn't matter with Nussmeier. And then how bad is the Nussmeier injury? Is he able to move and get through the pocket, step up? You've heard different things. Is a knee? It's a hand. It's this. It's that. So we'll see this game. And then you got to factor in what Brian Kelly's like 0-3. And LSU as a whole is 0-4 since the national championship game.
0-5.
0-5.
They've lost 5 straight home openers.
Yeah. So right now, why would you pick LSU?
Clemson hasn't fared much better in their openers as well either. But just they've lost like 3 of their last openers.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 to Georgia. I mean, obviously they're playing Georgia, but neither team. Yeah. You want to know what's funny? Dave put this stat out last night. The last time LSU won a home opener was against Clemson. The 2019 national championship year. That was their last home opener.
Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah. So that's the last time they played Clemson 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they beat Clemson. That's the last time they won a home opener.
But you just got to lean on Clemson just because there's a lot of returning.
Again, this is exactly what I'm totally in agreement. Like I like Clemson because of all those factors. I like Clemson because they're at home for one. Then you bring back a veteran in Cade Klubnik who's been in college for a long time. He knows he played really well down the stretch. Obviously last season. Yeah. You got to love that defense, like you say. Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, Sammy Brown at linebacker. Like they're loaded. They got back end guys. I like Clemson's receivers now. We talked about Clemson's receivers a couple of years ago, and that was one of their home opener
finally
losses.
Got back to where they used to be.
Well, you remember that was one of their home opener terrible losses was to Duke, 2 years ago. That was awful.
I think they
played bad.
They were just so young.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So those receivers are now like juniors and seniors now.
Yeah.
And they've definitely come into their own, and they're actually really good players.
We know Dabo don't like the portal.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things he hasn't really dipped into, roster wise of like.
So this is their year to make that run.
Right.
It seems like Clemson, outside of the 2 years where they had Trevor and the 2 years they had Deshaun Watson, other than those other years, it's like they'll take a little dip. And then that 4th year when he gets his guys developed and, they're upperclassmen, they make that run for their national championship. And this could be the year where they make another run, because looking at their schedule and being in the ACC, they're favored to win the ACC, and they're going to be in the playoff.
No, for sure. Like I say, I like Wesco. I like Antonio Williams. I like TJ Moore. They're replacing Brenningstool at tight end, but they'll probably have a tight end. Who knows? We know.
So I got one for you. Do you believe in the hype of Brian Kelly taking this game more serious than the last 2-3 years? I mean, that's what he was selling at SEC Media Day.
And that's the thing. I think that he is. But again, when it comes down to like this is a game where you're kind of evenly matched, you got to look at those because here's again, you said it, and this is what I've heard also. Is their offensive line is not good at all. Like they're struggling. They're Swiss cheese. They can't protect. They can't run block. So again, this goes back to like we said about Florida State. If you can't create any sort of run game where you're giving the illusion that you can run it, dude, Clemson's going to be pinning their ears, buddy. Or as Sam Williams like to say, the boys going to be blitzing off the bus, baby.
Yes, sir. But I
think LSU. I like parts of what LSU has. And again, Nussmeier's really good quarterback, but like I say, it's also LSU.
If you can't protect, it doesn't matter. Like I say, running back, they're going to probably start a true freshman at running back.
I do like LSU's backs too. Like they're nice.
They're young,
but they're young. Exactly.
Yeah, and their receiving room is loaded. Can Harold Perkins bounce back from an injury year and lead that defense with Pyburn and Peyton?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was. I heard something on Bud Elliott. He was talking to, I guess, a buddy who is an LSU diehard.
Yeah,
and he's like coach, I think, and he was talking about how they're going to scheme up something to where Perkins is going to be like a non-factor. Like that's what his concern is. If they can do this, we're going to be in trouble. Like LSU's going to be in trouble.
Freshman year, what is Perkins? And I love Perkins. I think he's a hell of a player.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's met the expectations that we all have had for him since his freshman year, which we know he's a 4-3, 4-4 guy coming off the edge. They moved him off the line and put him back at linebacker, whereas last year they had him on the line of scrimmage trying to create havoc. Now, with Blake Baker being the DC, how are they going to use him? Are they going to just let him play in the middle or play, like an outside linebacker and create from that position? But like I say, with Pyburn and Peyton, you're hoping you get production out of those two guys. One of the two had more production than the other one last year, would be Pyburn. But
he's allegedly going to be the starter.
Yeah, but Clemson, their offensive line is going to be solid. The one thing about Clemson, they're going to have a good offensive line. Their running game is they're going to want to run the ball. It all comes down to the trigger man, and their defense is going to be good.
Yeah, like I say, I believe in Cade Klubnik. He's been around for a long enough time where you got a veteran like that. He should be pretty savvy, pretty good, and nothing should shock. And same with Nussmeier too. I mean, Nussmeier has been banged and battered in his whole career too, running for his life. So yeah,
Clemson, it is. And if LSU can't if they can figure out how to run the ball and protect, I wouldn't be surprised if they won. Yeah. But I'm leaning Clemson. I think Clemson's going to cover.
I was about to say that's the big thing too, and I feel like if Clemson is going to win the game, I think they do kind of cover because I feel like they have to. I think they win by a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I don't like us agreeing too much.
We're in total agreement here. We might be 100 because are the Gators going to win by 100? That's.
Did you see the team photo for LIU?
Yes, man. It's
like good. 15, 20 guys.
I just watched something too where they did, they do the skits where you walk in front of the camera and they were asking questions, and it was like the phrase see you later, alligator, and then what are you supposed to say after that? After a while, crocodile.
Yeah.
They were like, these kids were like, they put two phrases up. You could pick which one. One was in a while, crocodile, or after a while. And half of them were like, in a while, crocodile. I'm just like, oh my God.
All right, let's just talk about this one real quick.
This is like I say, I've heard multiple people say this is the worst team that's ever come to the Swamp. The Gators had to scramble to find a game because they were supposed to be playing the Florida A&M marching band, and that game got canceled, so we had to find an opponent. LIU, never even heard of them, never even knew Long Island had a football team.
Yeah, the only thing you get out of this one is, hey, DJ, if DJ plays.
Yeah, he's already named him the starter. He's going to play.
All right. Give him a quarter, half, some reps. Let's see what the wide receivers do. Let's clean up some things we probably messed up on during training camp and get those guys out by the half.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what I told Dave is like,
and you get your younger guys plenty of play time.
Let's let a lot of the young guys play. And I just want to see clean execution. It's obviously going to be a very vanilla game plan. You shouldn't even have to do much,
Which I expect.
Offensive line. There's going to be a lot of running in the second half.
Yeah, I expect like the first team offense and defense to look pretty good. It's after those guys and can they put themselves in the right positions? It's the second team.
Yeah, that's what
offense defense.
Let me pull it up. I'll pull up the stats real quick from because LIU has played at least a Power 4 team before. They played last year. They played TCU, the Horned Frogs.
I'm sure that was ugly.
And it was 45-0, but it was like statistic wise was just like they had like 100 yards of total offense. They had like 9 first downs.
But not watching the
game.
I was like,
I
fall off the dog.
What's crazy? What's wild was the fact that apparently Long Island had 30 minutes of possession, TOP, and you're like, God, they had 30 minutes with the ball and had no yards. Like that's painful.
One play for the whole play clock.
Yeah.
If the play clock's at 30 seconds, you're not snapping it until it's like 2-3.
And I think we're probably going to have that too. They're going to slow it down like that.
They're just coming down here to get a check.
Exactly. You're going to come down for a party, have a good time, and go on a trip. But just give me some clean, flawless execution. Get out of there healthy. Bang on them late. Let's see some young guys get some explosive runs and touchdowns.
If you're going to waste one of their 4 games, let it be this game.
Yeah, why not get them some good game experience and whatever. But
because who's to say you may need one of those guys later on down the year, but this is the game because they're not going to get a ton of playing time against A&M, LSU, Miami, games like that. So this is the game, one of the next 2 games.
Yep, totally agree. All right, moving on. Gets to the real game, the juicy game, the Miami Hurricanes, Canes gang, Sunday night in Hard Rock. Catholics versus convicts.
Place is going to be rocking, man.
You want me to go first?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
I got the Canes, baby. I go with the Canes.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I knew we were going to be in agreement because once we agreed on the other ones, I knew you were going to pick. I'm going Notre Dame. I knew you weren't picking. No. I think I feel like there's a lot of unknowns to this game as well. You got I think the biggest question mark is CJ Carr. A new quarterback at Notre Dame.
I expect both quarterbacks to play.
Yeah, for sure. And like I say, at least we've seen a lot of Carson Beck. We've known he's been playing a lot of college football. I have confidence in Carson Beck. I may not love what he does, but he's still a pretty damn good quarterback. My biggest question mark with him is when he does dumb stuff, forcing a lot of balls, throws a lot of INTs, but that's the only thing he can't do. You can't turn the ball over Saturday or Sunday and expect you guys to win. But I think also you can kind of ease whatever injury concerns we have with him in because I like the run game. I like your backs. I do like some of the skills. You lost some guys, but I still like, what you have.
The inexperience that's wide receiver is the biggest thing.
Right, but I still like some of those guys. I just haven't played yet. Now, like I say, the flip side, I want to know how good, because this is where Notre Dame kind of showed up to me to where I'm like, damn, Notre Dame's pretty good. Was last year when that defense, I think in that Georgia game against Carson Beck or against Gunnar Stockton, and then even into the game against Penn State, you're like, this Notre Dame defense is pretty freaking good. Obviously, that's what they're bred on with Freeman being the coach. So it's like I didn't do a deep dive into how much personnel they lost, but I still feel like they're going to have a stock defense. So the question is, how good is that defense? Can that defense cause problems and concerns for Miami on offense? Is my biggest. That's the chess match I want to see. Is if Notre Dame's defense is really good.
Not sure who. Al Golden is now gone. He was the DC last year. He's in Cincinnati as a defensive coordinator. So I'm not sure who the defensive coordinator is at Notre Dame. I knew a couple weeks ago, slipped my mind now. I think for the Canes to win, they're going to have to run the football. And like you say, those wide receivers are going to have to step up and catch the ball and make plays. And Carson doesn't turn the ball over. I think we have an advantage size-wise on the lines of scrimmage, especially on the offensive line versus their defensive line by 30, 40 pounds, which doesn't really mean much. But can we run the football, and can that play action work? And then on the flip side, how does that secondary play? Can that secondary come out and be total opposite of last year's secondary? And can Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor create havoc in the backfield on CJ Carr? And I'm curious to see what Corey Heatherman throws at him. He seems like a very base type coordinator for the defense, and he's just going to let his guys fly around and make plays. So, you got to like the fact that you got a lot of veterans in the front seven. Defensive tackle may be the issue. If Notre Dame could run the football, they're going to have to run straight at the Miami defense, because you bring in a transfer in Blay, who, he's got experience, but how much experience at defensive tackle is he going to bring with Justin Scott being a newcomer on the front? But then you still got Bassane at linebacker and Popo. I'm sure they're going to rotate guys in and out, but like I said, I want to see what the secondary does. Also, Notre Dame is 0-6 in South Florida when they play the Canes. So does that trend keep going? I wish it was a 3:30 game where it was nice, hot, and humid down there in Miami Gardens, not South Beach. They keep saying South Beach, but the stadium's really in Miami Gardens. It still might be hot and humid on Sunday night. And does that wear down the Notre Dame team? Like, can the Canes either jump on them or just keep it close and let that weather just take it out of them as you beat them up? But I think the Canes win the game. I mean, I know people are like, oh, of course, we expect you to pick Miami, but I think Miami's the better team, to be honest with you. And I could be wrong by midnight Sunday night, but right now going into that game, I think we're the better team.
Yeah, like where I don't know again, and this is, if Riley Leonard was the quarterback, maybe I think differently.
Yeah, exactly. Just that changes everything.
Because I mean, CJ Carr again. This could go back to all of our conversations we had earlier. When you go to Julian Sand, Ty Simpson, Tommy Castellanos, CJ Carr, these guys could come and light the world on fire and be like, "Holy shit, these guys are pretty damn good."
But I think you like his chances if it was in South Bend.
That too, well, definitely that too, but not even just starting a rookie quarterback, and in these
but you
big
wanted
games
to be at home if you could.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But like, I just feel like even if the game was home or road, these quarterbacks are either going to struggle or some might surprise. And so I like Greathouse as a receiver for Notre Dame. Obviously, they're going to do what a lot of these other teams we just talked about. They're going to, if Jeremiah Love if they can get the ground game going, then it could be a game. It could be a game.
They're going to shorten it like they did the Penn State game. That Penn State game, remember how they shortened it?
Definitely. And I think obviously that's a factor. If they can get the ground game going, then CJ Carr might be able to complete some balls and get some confidence, and then we're in for a 4-quarter fight. And then so that the other thing too that I mentioned is and this is one thing that we always talk about, and it really never gets talked about, is the third phase. Like, they do a good job on special teams too. Notre Dame does. So you got to have all that shit buttoned up, because they block some punts, they return kickoffs. They have that X factor of, they can change a game to where it's like 7-7, and then all of a sudden they block a punt, then they're up, and then they return a kick. And
that's why I like us bringing in the nation's leader in return yards last year, in Keelan Marion.
No, like I
said, he's the best returner in the country last year. So hopefully that translates, because that's one thing that's been struggling at Miami in the last couple of years. I don't really remember. I think there's been 1 or 2 kick returns for a touchdown and maybe a punt return for a touchdown, but it hasn't been many since Mario's been there. So hopefully bringing him in will help.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe you could get Nye Carr or Ray Joseph back there to return some punts as well. But like I say, I think it should be a really good game. The place is going to be rocking. Anytime Notre Dame they can be playing on the moon, and some way, somehow it's going to sell out, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. No, like I say, I think it's going to be a really good game. And like I say, it's one of this is what you want to see early in the season, because it's kind of that unknown. It's that unknown factor of, like, you're going to, like I say, it's like you got all this optimism going into that week 1, and then all of a sudden you get popped in the mouth and you're like, damn, all right, this team's way better than us. Yeah. Or we got some evaluating
we need to work on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you don't get that warm up, you don't get that mulligan. Yeah. It's let's go bang. And like I say, somebody's a winner, somebody's a loser. Yeah. What do you do to lick your wounds the following week?
Well,
like
that's the great fun part about week 1. For all these big games we're talking about, the loser's not out of it.
Notre Dame gets A&M right after that. Woo!
Yeah, they better be ready because we know what A&M. We know what they want to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's I just looked at Notre Dame's schedule right there. Yeah, so like I think they got to bye. So at least they get a week to lick their wounds and figure some stuff out if they do lose that game. But yeah, no, it's I like the Canes just because I believe in Carson Beck. So I think you got the veteran quarterback. You're at home. Those are the reasons why I think the Canes win. I even go money line, baby. Give me who needs the 2.5 points? Canes.
Yeah,
Canes win. Canes win.
I'm
All
with
right.
you.
I'm with you. So see, we're a perfect. What is that? How many games do we do? 1, 2, 3.
4 or 5.
We're 5 for 5 on games. What's going on? We got to
I don't
quit.
think we've
This is,
ever
the last,
agreed.
this is the last podcast we're doing. We're done.
Hey, people that really know us know we never really agree
Yeah.
on a lot of these things.
All right. Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to go ahead and set our bets then. These need to be our 5 games. We need to set our bets.
Yeah.
No. All right. I guess give me your other intriguing matchups that you're looking forward to watching. I know we talked about a couple of them. Obviously, like I say, we got a game in an hour and a half here with Boise State and South Florida. I mean, that's not a sexy game. It's just like kind of like the first game of the weekend.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, Auburn and Baylor. Auburn at Baylor. Can that offense pick up who's the kid from Oklahoma? That's the quarterback now.
Jackson Arnold.
Can Jackson Arnold get those skill guys and Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton the ball, and can their defense like this might be make or break year for Hugh Freeze. Crazy to say that in year 3, I think it is.
Yeah, because their schedule's tough too.
Yeah.
They could be good, and then that's what I'm saying. This is Auburn's kind of that wild card team of they could be a really solid, good team. Mm-hmm. They could be mid or they could be bad, So like I'm in the neighborhood of they're going to be like 7-5ish, 8-4, which is I guess that's mediocre now in this day and age in college football. But I mean, again, when your schedule is as tough as it is, this is one of those games where
you have to win.
You got to beat a Baylor when you got Alabama and Georgia on the schedule.
But we know Baylor's going to be a tough team. Dave Aranda is a coach who demands being tough. So, defensively, they're going to be pretty decent. Offensively, they're more of a high up-tempo type team. So, it's at Baylor. I mean, right now, I probably would pick Auburn to win the game, but I expect Baylor to come out and show some fight.
Yeah, here's the game later tonight. And this is the team that won a spring national championship with their either offensive red or black shirts. I was
going to bring that up later.
Nebraska,
might as well.
Nebraska. Well, I think this is an interesting game. Nebraska at Cincinnati. That's the 9:00 kickoff tonight. What's crazy is if Nebraska is supposed to be as good as they are, wouldn't you just be like Nebraska's going to win this game, right? The line's 6.5. So
if you hear,
wouldn't you feel like this is an easy cover?
You would think so. I mean, listening to all their players, they're talking like championship. I mean, the heck with this game. What's up with giving a spring game ring?
That's gay.
Like, for those that don't know, the winners of the spring game, Nebraska gave them like championship type rings. Like, what are we doing here? So we're just giving them participation trophies for their finger for the spring game.
Yeah.
What happened to the loser? The loser gets slop and the winners get, ribeyes and stuff like that. Or the losers got to clean the stadium. Now we're just giving them rings. Like, come on. But I think Nebraska's going to win this game.
Yeah, I do too. Like I said, I just threw it out there because that's tonight.
I like Raiola.
That's what I'm saying. I feel is this a trap to get me to bet this game tonight? Is what I'm saying. Like I just feel like
but I think they have a lot of talent. I think Scott Frost, while he was there, had a lot of talent, and Matt Rule was either A, able to keep him there, or B, bring in a lot of other guys.
Yeah, let's see. I want to see what Cincinnati. I can't remember what their record was last year to close the year.
I don't think it was that great.
They lost 5. They lost their last 6 games.
Yeah,
they were 5-7. They actually beat Arizona State. Yeah, they lost to Colorado, West Virginia, Iowa State.
I think they got Arizona State before they got on that roll.
Yeah, they got them right there in the middle. They got them right. That was probably Arizona State's last loss.
Yeah, I think they figured some things out, especially with Levitt and Jordan Tyson being up and down last year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm going to bet this game tonight. I'm going to go with Nebraska, and I might lose, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I guess that really the tonight slate's not that great. Obviously, Boise, South Florida at 5:30. Just looking at the rest of today's games. I mean, you could have them on, but nothing bites.
So jump till tomorrow, Georgia Tech and Colorado.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Friday definitely. You got the Baylor, you got the Auburn at Baylor game, and you got the G Tech. Because like I say, G Tech's one of my
Sleeper
ACC
team,
surprise teams for sure. Yeah. And here's what's crazy. I like that line too. That line's only at 4.5. So Colorado, again, you're breaking in a new quarterback. I do like Salter from Liberty. No Travis Hunter. You lost some of those other guys who transferred out, but again,
life after Shedeur and Travis. Exactly. It wasn't like it was great when they were there. And Georgia Tech, that coach, their defense. I've told you this before. Their defense and offensive coordinators, they put their teams in great situations and they make you think, especially offensively, all the shifts, motions, and then after they shift in motion, they run a play and guys are pulling here, there, and everywhere, and they try to out-line you and put you in bad situations. And then defensively, they're just hard-nosed and they're coming to play, and they're going to be if they're supposed to be in the A gap, that guy is going to be in the A gap. So they're going to be in where they're supposed to be.
All right, this is the other noon kickoff game tomorrow with some intrigue to it. I'm kind of surprised by this line as well. Syracuse versus Tennessee in the Benz in the ATL. Tennessee's favored by 13.5.
I just with so much turnover and so much.
If Nico was the quarterback, I could see the 13.5.
Yeah, but they got so much BS going on, and there were.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about Tennessee.
You got 9 new starters, and one of your starters that's returning. I don't know what the hell happened to Boo Carter this year during the offseason. He wasn't with the team the whole offseason. Then you hear stories that he got arrested or he just didn't show up, or it's like, what's the real story? And then you lose a guy like James Pierce, a defensive end, one of the better players in Tennessee in the last 5-6 years. And you lose a squirrel right to FSU. It's like right now, as much as I don't want to pick Fran Brown in Syracuse, I think I'm leaning Syracuse to at least cover.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. I like the 2 touchdowns.
But if I had to pick a winner, I probably would pick Syracuse money line straight up.
Yeah, to get the upset. Yeah, why not? You get some good odds on that for sure.
We know the Tennessee fans are going to travel, but at the end of the day, I mean, Aguilar I think he was named the starter for Tennessee. And the one reason why I probably think they would stay in the game is just because Josh Heupel is just a good offensive coordinator, his play calling, and that offense. You don't see that offense every day where they're stretching the field, where three wide receivers are almost on the sideline and the ball's on the left hash, and they create space. He likes to create space, so that may give Syracuse some fits at the beginning. But if they could figure it out, I think Syracuse could win this game.
Yeah, like I say, I think it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. I guess the only other big time sexy matchup would be the other Sunday game. The 3:00 game would be VTech against the Gamecocks. That's also in the ATL in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well. I think we get to look at Lenore Sellers, who's obviously one of the top quarterbacks in the country that everybody's loving. But the question is,
Can you
step
up, Nick Harvey?
Yeah, how good is Virginia Tech? Can Virginia Tech give them any kind of trouble?
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see, because Virginia Tech's lost some guys. They got, obviously, Drones is back. They lose Tootin to the Jags at running back, but like I said, I think Sellers is pretty damn special. So
yeah, I like South Carolina in this one.
South Carolina as well.
I think Dylan. If Dylan Stewart could get off at that edge to where they don't really have the blitz and they could harass. If him and his frontline mates could harass Drones to where they don't have the blitz, it's just going to make the game even uglier.
Yeah. Then the only other primo matchup would be the Monday night game. We get to watch Bill Belichick on Monday Night Football. But I don't know what to think about the Tar Heels, TCU.
Yeah. Well, they named Gio the starter, Gio Lopez.
Okay, yeah. But other than that, what you got? Any other interesting games you're looking at? I think that's pretty much. There might be a few. Obviously, we're going to keep our eye on everything.
Most of the games are pretty much like a Wisconsin type Miami of Ohio. I know Oklahoma's playing a scrub. Like most of the games I looked at are pretty. Yeah. It's still a nice slate, even though Illinois is playing Western Illinois. Games like that. So it's like I say, they got it spaced out perfect to where there's a good game on every hour. Yeah. So you don't have to flip channels and stuff. The only thing that sucks is the 2 games at noon on Saturday. But we're going to be leaning to the Texas-Ohio State game and not the Syracuse-Tennessee game.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I got the 2 TVs, baby.
Yeah.
Double it up, double it up, double it
up. Coming out of week one, going into week one for the most part, we mentioned this at the end of last week. Any Heisman, non-quarterback Heismans you thought about this year? Or
yeah, the number one guy would be JS4, Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Love.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would be non-running back?
No, non-quarterback.
Yeah, not quarterback. Yeah,
I got a list of guys, but it a lot of these guys, like with JS4, is how does Julian Sayin play? So a lot of them is quarterback play, like Ryan Williams. How does Ty Simpson play? A couple guys I like are Mekhi Hughes at Oregon. With that schedule, and if they're dedicated on running the ball to slowly bring in Dante Moore as the quarterback, he could get close to 2,000 yards rushing. Colin Simmons, linebacker out of Texas, or edge guy out of Texas. If he has a big game on Saturday, who's to say he won't be in the mix? I don't think he's going to win, but you still got to put him there. Zachariah Branch, Le'Veon Moss, and Jordan Tyson are three other guys. If A&M could run the football like they want to, Moss could have a big year. Zachariah Branch, just because of the return element, and if Gunnar Stockton could get him the ball, and then your guys at Penn State, but I think they cancel each other out at running back.
Yeah. All right. Well, forget all that then, because we know a quarterback's going to win this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Who is your
talk, though?
No, for sure. Who is your? Give me your quarterback leader in the clubhouse, and then give me that guy who's like maybe a little bit down the odds line, because I'm looking at the odds right now. Who could be a guy who can come in and maybe like all of a sudden be playing out of his mind and be like, yeah, this guy's really good. Obviously, Arch is the leader in the clubhouse at he's plus 700.
You got to like Cade Klubnik, a guy I think
he's number two. He's number two.
Guy we both like. If they have a good year out there at College Station, Marcel Reed. He's a dual threat guy, pretty good.
Yeah, Marcel Reed, he's down there at 3,500 is his odds. So
so that's a guy.
Him and like a Kevin Jennings are on the same. Austin Simmons, those are guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like my two guys would be Lenore Sellers and DJ Lagway. Like if those guys, put together great seasons, like they're sleepers. Like where's Lagway? Lagway's 2,500 and Lenore's is at 18 plus 1,800. Yeah. Like your boy Carson Beck is at plus 1,800. He's the fourth quarterback on the board.
The reason why I don't think Carson could win it or will win it, I think they're going to rely heavy on the run game. It's going to probably take them a couple weeks to probably get really in tune with his receiver. So I expect, not saying they're not going to throw the football. I just don't think they're going to throw it at a clip of what they did last year.
I think the Gators are going to run the ball too, because Billy wants to run it as well. Yeah. But that's like, who knows? Like if DJ makes those huge explosive, like it's crazy when you look at the numbers of how like those big explosive long plays, the chunk plays are, you can have a lot of that, and then all of a sudden you could be like, all right, well, we're just going to run it 25 times right here with Baugh and Jackson and just pound this game out,
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's going to be a good balance, is what I'm saying. There's not going to lean one way or the other, and I think me personally, that makes your team better versus a team individual award. I don't want DJ to throw for 5,000 yards and we can't run the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd rather DJ throw for less yards and we run the ball as well. And we control games.
Because then you face up a team that has a good secondary and you can't run the football. They're just like, we'll just man up. Another guy I think you really like as well out there in the desert with Sam Levitt.
Levitt's on there. He's at plus 2,000.
What's crazy is skill guys.
Here's what's wild is two quarterbacks who we talked about in this pod today who haven't even really taken snaps. Ty Simpson and Julian Sayin are literally at 18 and 2,000 odds.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Sam Levitt is literally at the same level of Ty Simpson and Julian Sayin.
Take Sam in a heartbeat over those guys. His skill guys are just as good as their skill guys. I'm not saying Jordan Tyson's better than Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams, but he's right there with them. He's probably a notch under them.
Here's the quarterbacks. Here's the guy sitting at 2,500 plus. Dante Moore at Oregon, Mateer at Boomer Sooner, Jackson Arnold at Auburn, DJ Lagway at Florida, Gunner Stockton, Georgia, Jeremiah Love. Those are your 2,500 plus 2,500 odds.
Where's our guy from Ole Miss?
He's at 35. He's right after that. Yeah, it's basically Reese, Kevin Jennings, and Austin Simmons. CJ Carr is at 3,500 odds.
Yeah, it's definitely a quarterback award. I don't know why they just don't go ahead and change it. Because another guy I had on my list is the kid from Minnesota. Was it Coy Parrish? He's a two-way guy. He's played safety, and they're going to probably play him on. I don't. He's not going to win, but he's just someone people should know. Do you see his odds by any chance? He's probably not even on the list.
Yeah, I just closed it out.
Oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. But yeah, he's a guy they're trying to play both ways. He's probably going to get 5 to 10 snaps a game on offense, but he's a hell of a safety. A lot of teams tried to poach him out of into the transfer portal. He stayed.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Maybe in 2 years, because he's just a sophomore.
Okay. Yeah. No, like I say, it's hard for defensive guys to get love.
100%. Yeah. You got to be doing something like Travis.
Yeah, like I said, we can only do that on the video game here. We get our DNs and linebackers Heisman's because we had 49 sacks. But no,
but that's what probably would really take in real life.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I'm saying. You got to beat Terrell Suggs numbers, from college to get that kind of love.
Yeah, yeah. It's exciting. College football is back, man.
We back, baby. We back.
So many storylines we probably haven't even touched on this week.
Yeah, no,
but
for sure.
as the weeks go on, we'll talk about different things. So it should be fun.
Yeah, we got this thing done in under an hour. Look at us. We're doing things, man. We discussed all the big games, talked a little Heisman odds, and got it done in 50 minutes. Let's go.
You're so proud of yourself.
I'm like, hey, we banged it out. Like we did what we did. We didn't just ramble on with any hypotheticals this week because we'll have hypotheticals next week.
You told me you're going to have some this week.
I know. I lied. I don't have any because I need to see some games and we can throw some hypotheticals out there. Yeah. And like I say, we're going to do some great overreaction, I'm sure, next week.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We overreact. Everyone overreacts.
It's not just us.
Oh, my God. Ohio State's the greatest team ever. Texas is terrible. Oh, my God. Florida State is the best. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be saying that, but
yeah, I'm ready. Well, yeah, it's gonna be curious to see how everything goes this week. Like you say, who's gonna be the young guy that steps up to get his team up and going? And the overreaction is gonna be if Ohio State beats Texas. What does Texas do the rest of the year playing that tough SEC schedule? And is Arch really the number one quarterback? That's gonna be the overreaction if Ohio State wins that game. On Saturday, they're going to be talking about it for the whole week.
For sure. Like I said, that's the great part of Overreaction Monday. Is going to be who didn't live up to the expectation, who did, and vice versa. So, but hey, college football's back. We enjoy the games on tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even the Monday night North Carolina TCU game. Man, Bill Belichick back in college, or for the first time ever in college football, back in the game. From the NFL sidelines from New England. He's on those Carolina Blue Tar Heels sidelines.
It's so weird to say that.
It is going to be. Did he come out with a cutoff hoodie, sleeveless?
Oh, now that should be a bet that people place. What does Bill B wear on his first college? I don't see him wearing a sleeveless hoodie. I don't know. He could. I don't see it.
I'm going to tune in just for that kickoff. I got to see kickoff.
No. We need to mark that down as a topic next week.
All right, we will. What did Bill B wear? For sure.
What would Bill B wear?
All right, my peoples. We appreciate everybody tuning in. As far would say,
like, subscribe, and share.
Ding,
we appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we're moving on up in the world. We'll figure some shit out, but we appreciate everybody for listening, tuning in. Until next week, we'll talk about all these games that we talked about today, winners and losers. Holler at your boys.
Peace.
Because we just talk ball.